Hi everyone, I'm Julia and welcome to your Deep Stretch Yoga for Flexibility. This practice is a total body yoga flow for increasing mobility, releasing tension and stress. It's a perfect practice for lengthening muscles and increasing overall flexibility. We're going to begin this practice sitting up nice and tall in the cross-legged seated position. We can relax our eyes closed here, beginning to tune into the present moment. Tuning into our breath. Maybe doing a little body scan just to see how we're feeling in this present moment. Taking deep cleansing inhales, cleansing exhales. Beginning to tune into this present moment. We're going to open our arms up, meeting our palms together above our head, then bringing our hands to heart center. We're going to repeat this breath flow a couple more times, connecting our breath to our arm movements. We're going to open our arms up, inhaling, meeting our palms together over our head, and exhaling, bringing our hands to heart center. We can do this at our own pace, opening up our arms. We inhale, maybe looking up to the sky, and exhale, bringing our hands to heart center. We're just beginning to feel centered and grounded on our mat. And a couple more times. And one last time, opening our arms up, looking to the sky, and then bringing our hands to heart center. We're going to open up our arms, reaching one arm above our head. The opposite forearm can rest on the mat, or we can come up onto our fingertips, whatever feels good for us in this present moment. And we're stretching out our side body, with an option to open up our chest up to the sky. Maybe if we're taking care of our neck, we can look down towards our mat. Reaching, lengthening, feeling grounded in both sit bones. Reaching back up to the sky, both arms up to the sky, and then reaching towards the other side, placing our opposite forearm on the mat or just coming onto our fingertips, whatever feels good for us in this present moment. Reaching over to the side. Lengthening through our side body. And sitting back up, nice and tall. We're just going to roll everything forward, releasing our neck, maybe letting our forehead reach down towards the mat, releasing any tension that we may be holding. Maybe making two fists and letting our forehead relax on our top fist. We're going to round through our spine, rolling back up, swiveling around. We're meeting in the all fours. And we're going to place our right foot forward into a lunge, tucking our back toes under and lifting up our knee. We're going to just begin to rock back and forth, waking up our lunge, maybe coming up higher, whatever is within our practice in this present moment, rocking forward and back. Then we're going to meet both feet together in a plank, holding here for a moment. We're going to step forward with our left leg, rocking forward and back. Just a quick lunge, beginning to warm up our muscles, feeling length in our quads, maybe feeling a stretching in our back calf muscle. And stepping back to the plank. We're going to step forward again with our right foot, and this time we're going to lower our knee down to the mat, untucking our toes, and we're moving into our lunge flows. So we can come up onto our fingertips if we would like, or maybe making fists for wrists to support our wrists here. And we're gonna lunge back and forth, trying to maintain a flat back here. When we come back, we're trying to square both our hips, so both our hip bones are pointing forward. And we're gonna lunge back and forth. Maybe coming up a little bit higher, not going as deep. Whatever feels good for us in this present moment. We're waking up our muscles. Flowing through this at our own pace. Maybe as we're flowing, we can set an intention for this practice, maybe a flexibility or mobility goal that we have, or anything that we'd like to pay special attention to. Just rocking forward and back. And if we'd like more support for our knee, an option is always to lift up our mat, looping it over. And then we have a little extra padding to support our knee. Okay, and we'll do this 1 or 2 more times. We're gonna tuck under our back toes, lifting up our knee, and we're slowly gonna swivel into the center. A center forward fold position. Releasing our neck down, maybe shifting our hips from side to side, maybe bending and straightening our knees. Really releasing the back of our neck. We're gonna bend our knees slightly, placing our hands on our hips. We're going to come up with a flat back. And we're gonna move into our lunges from side to side. And we're gonna be opening up our inner thighs in this flow so we can grasp our hands together, maybe stepping out a bit wider, whatever feels good for us. And we're gonna bend one knee and then the other knee, going as deep as we'd like to. We're waking up our inner thighs here. Maybe we have our toes turned out slightly, or maybe our feet are in parallel. Whatever feels good for us in this present moment. I'm gonna keep my toes turned out here though, and we're moving from side to side. Maybe engaging our core to create some stability here. We'll do this 1 or 2 more times. And last time. And now we're gonna swivel around, slowly lowering into our other side, maybe into our left side for our lunge flows on the left. We're gonna find our lunge here, and then we're gonna release back, maybe trying to square off our hips. So both our hip bones are pointing to our front, trying to maintain that flat back, either coming up onto our fingertips or maybe coming onto our fists, creating fists for wrists. We're gonna rock forward and back, moving at our own pace here. We also have the option to connect our breath into our movement. Maybe just beginning to pay attention to our breath again as we flow here. Maybe getting a little bit deeper with each flow, but only going so far as comfortable for us and our body, never forcing anything. Forward and back. Feeling our body warm up, the blood flow in our muscles. We're going to repeat this a couple more times. Okay, now we're going to tuck under our toes, shifting our legs a little bit more together, and we're going to release forward in a forward fold with our legs opened up into a wide standing position. Relaxing our neck down here, releasing in this forward fold. Letting go of any tension or stress we may be holding anywhere in our body, and maybe finding a slight bend in our knees so we're not hyperextending our legs. Releasing here for another breath. We're going to bend our knees, placing our hands on our hips. We're going to come up with a flat back. We're going to take a big step to the front of our mat, meeting together here. We're opening our arms up, meeting our palms together above our head, lifting up our chest, opening our chest up to the sky. Bending our knees, we swan dive forward with a flat back. Releasing forward, bending our knees as much as we need to feel comfortable here. Releasing our neck. We're going to lift up halfway with our arms extended along our sides into our airplane pose. And then release back down. We're going to step one foot and then the other foot back to our plank. We're lowering our knees, untucking our toes, lowering down. Maybe scooting to the center of our mat, lowering down, hugging our elbows into our ribs, all the way down to our belly. We press up to the cobra, dropping our shoulders down, lifting up through our center, opening up our chest, lowering back down to our belly. We're going to press back into the child's pose, just releasing here. Releasing our lower back, letting our arms just melt into our mat. We're going to come back to the all fours, tuck under our toes, lift up our knees to our first down dog. We can work through some foot pedals here, lifting up one heel, reaching the opposite heel down towards the mat, and we can just switch back and forth here. Flowing at our own pace. Making sure that we're maintaining that flat back. Feeling the strength in our arms, the strength in our legs. Now we can meet both feet together, lowering both heels, reaching our heels down towards the mat, maybe finding a slight bend in our knees to help us maintain that flat back. We're going to reach our right foot up to the sky, into the three-legged dog. We're going to find a couple foot circles here. Circling our foot in one direction and then the other. We're going to step forward in between our hands, and we're going to open up the same or opposite arm's leg into our twisted lunge. Opening up our chest up to the sky and lowering both hands back down. We're slowly going to shift, moving our leg down onto the mat into our pigeon pose, lowering our knee, untucking our back toe, and releasing. We have our front leg bent, and we're feeling an opening up in our hip. And from here, we have the option, we can just be nice and tall in this position, maybe interlacing our hands behind our back, opening up our chest here as we feel the opening up of our hip. Or we can release forward, maybe coming onto our forearms, Maybe releasing our head down towards the mat, whatever feels good for us. And we'll just release here for a couple breaths. And we'll stay here for one more breath. We can place both our hands onto the mat, tucking our back toes under. We can press back into the plank, then lift up our hips to our down dog. We can now bend our knees, walking our feet to meet our hands. Releasing here. We're going to tuck our fingers underneath our feet if it's within our practice, maybe bending our knees a little bit more, whatever is comfortable for us, into our gorilla position. And here we're just releasing, feeling a nice stretch in our calves and our hamstrings, releasing our neck. And on our next exhale, we can release our hands, bending our knees just a bit deeper, opening up our arms. We swan dive up with a flat back, meeting our hands together over our head, bringing our hands back to heart center. Staying here for a moment, maybe tuning into our posture, dropping our lower ribs down slightly, lifting up through our center. Maybe feeling like a string is lifting us up from the crown of our head, standing tall in the mountain pose. We're going to reach our hands above our head, meeting our palms together, opening up our chest up to the sky. Bending our knees, we swan dive forward with a flat back. And we release here. Coming up halfway with our arms extended along our sides, we're coming into our airplane pose. We can release back down into our forward fold. We're going to step one foot and then the other foot back to our plank. We can lower our knees down, untuck our toes, and press back into our child's pose, maybe opening up our knees a bit more here. We can feel nice and comfortable here. Releasing our forehead onto the mat. Maybe tuning back into our breath. We're going to shift into the all fours position, tucking under our toes. We lift up our knees to our down dog. And we're going to work through some foot pedals, lifting up one heel, reaching the opposite heel down towards the mat, and switching. Moving at our own pace here, and bending our knees as much as we need to feel comfortable. Maintaining our flat back. Reaching both heels down towards the mat, we're going to lift up now our left left leg into the three-legged dog, and we're gonna work through some foot circles. Circling our foot in one direction, and then reversing the circles. We're gonna shift our foot forward, placing our foot in between our hands. We're opening up into the twisted lunge. Either looking up to the sky, towards our top arm, or looking down towards our mat if we're taking care of our neck today. We're going to place both hands down on the mat. We're going to slowly lower down onto our front leg, bending our front knee. We're going to lower our back knee down, untucking our toes. We're coming into our pigeon position, our pigeon stretch. You can make any adjustments we need to feel comfortable. Maybe staying tall in this position, maybe interlacing our hands and opening up our chest. Or if we'd like to, we can release forward down onto our forearms, maybe placing one forearm and one forearm down on the mat, releasing our neck. Relaxing into this stretch. We're feeling an opening up of our front hip. We're going to stay here for another breath. We're going to come up, placing one hand and the other hand on the mat, tucking under our back toes, lifting up our back knee. We meet our back foot to meet our front foot together in the plank. Lifting up our hips, we come into the down dog. Holding here for another moment. Bending both of our knees. We're going to walk our feet to meet our hands at the front of our mat. Releasing our neck here. And if it's within our practice, we can bend our knees a bit more here. And we're going to tuck our fingers underneath our feet. This is also great for releasing any tension we may have in the back of our wrists and our forearms. Just feeling a nice gentle release here. We're going to untuck our hands, bending our knees a bit more. We swan dive up with a flat back, meeting our hands together above our head, and then bringing our hands to heart center. Connecting back into our breath. We're going to open up to the mountain pose, reaching our hands above our head. We can open up our chest up to the sky. Bending our knees, we swan dive forward. And we're just going to come into a seated position here. Extending our legs out into the staff pose. We're going to bend one knee in, placing our foot in our inner thigh. Coming into our seated forward fold, and we're just going to release forward. We can point or flex our foot, whatever feels good for us. We're just going to release forward over our front leg. reaching both hands towards our front foot, or maybe sitting up a bit more. Whatever is feeling good for us in this present moment. On our next exhale, we can walk our hands back, sitting up tall in our sit bones. We're gonna switch our legs, bending the opposite leg in, placing our opposite foot in our inner thigh. Sitting up nice and tall, we can release forward over our front leg, either pointing or flexing our foot, whatever is feeling good for us. Maybe stretching with a flat back. Can play around with this a bit, feeling whatever feels good for us. Feeling a nice release in our calf muscle and our hamstring. Maybe a release in our opposite hip and the leg that is bent. On our next exhale, we're gonna walk our hands back, sitting up nice and tall. We're extending both legs in the staff pose. We're gonna bend one knee, then the other knee, and then we're gonna lift up one toe and the other toe, coming into our boat position. Extending one arm and the other arm. Engaging our core here, making sure that we have a nice straight spine here. And if it's within our practice, we have the option to stay here, but if it's within our practice, we can take 2 fingers and grasp our big toe, and we can extend our legs out with an option to come into the wide leg boat. Opening our legs up, maybe feeling a stretch in our inner thighs. Finding balance and stability here by tuning into our center. We can bring our legs back to center, releasing our grasp on our big toes. Maybe staying here in the boat for another moment. Maybe placing our hands behind our knees for some support. Here for a modification. We're gonna lower one toe and then the other toe onto the mat, maybe scooting forward just a bit. We're gonna reach our arms out in front of us and we're gonna slowly roll down, rounding through our spine. Slowly rolling down onto our back, releasing our arms down on the mat, maybe rocking our knees from side to side, releasing any tension we may be holding in our lower back. We can now extend one leg and then the other leg. We're coming into our fish position. We're gonna tuck one hand and then the other hand underneath our hips. We're bending our elbows slightly, coming onto our forearms, pressing ourselves up, arching our chest up to the sky, and letting the crown of our head gently touch the ground. Most of our weight here is in our forearms. Making sure that we're still maintaining a long back of our neck. feeling an opening up of our chest here. We're going to release back down, lowering slowly, untucking our hands. We're going to hug our knees into our chest. And then releasing back down, we're lowering one leg down onto the mat, hugging one knee into our chest. We're going to find some gentle circles with our knee, circling in one direction. For modification, we can hold around our thigh and we can do the same circles. And for more sensation, we can interlace our hand in front of our knee and finding our circles. Then we're going to reverse the direction of our circles. And one or two more. We're going to slowly extend our foot up to the sky. We're going to find a nice stretch here. A lengthening in our calf muscle and our hamstring. And if it's within our practice, if we'd like to feel more of a sensation, we can take 2 fingers and grasp around our big toe. We can release our opposite arm down onto the mat and find a nice deep stretch here. We can bend and straighten our leg. Or for a modification, we can just keep our leg reaching up to the sky, wherever feels good for us, grasping around our thigh. Or maybe our calf, wherever feels good for us. We can bend and straighten the leg. Making sure that the rest of our body is just releasing into the mat. We don't want to hold tension anywhere. Just melting into our mat. Now we can hold our leg just extended out in front of us. Maybe lifting our leg a bit closer in towards us. Really breathing into this stretch. Now we can begin to slowly open up our leg out to the side. Making sure that we're still feeling grounded through our opposite hip. Maybe just opening up even just a little bit up to the side, feeling an opening up of our inner thigh here. And coming back to center. We're going to release our leg in the opposite direction, crossing across our body. And on our next exhale, we're going to meet back in center. We're going to bend our knee nice and slowly, hugging our knee into our chest, and then letting it release onto the floor, maybe rocking our legs from side to side, releasing any tension. We're going to bend our opposite knee into our chest, interlacing our hands around the front of our knee, hugging this knee into the chest. Or just grasping around our thigh, holding our leg wherever feels good for us. And we're going to find some circles with our knee, circling in one direction. Maybe keeping our leg a bit more extended out. And hugging around our thigh. We're hugging our knee further into our chest. And we're going to reverse the direction of the circles. Now we're going to extend our foot up to the sky, holding wherever feels comfortable for us. Making sure that we always feel comfortable in our stretch. We don't want to overstretch anything. Always taking care of our body. And if it's within our practice today, we can take 2 fingers and grasp around our big toe and extend our leg out, resting the opposite arm onto the mat. We can begin to bend and straighten our leg. Feeling an opening up of our hamstring and our calf muscle. Breathing into our stretch. And we'll repeat this a couple more times. Now we're just going to reach our foot up to the sky, maybe hugging or pulling it a bit more into our chest. Feeling a lengthening in our leg. Holding our leg wherever feels comfortable for us, around our thigh, or around our calf. We're going to open up our leg to the side, even just slightly, making sure that both of our hip bones are still resting, and still are pointing up towards the sky. We don't want to lift up our hip too much on either side. And then we're going to cross our leg across our body. Feeling a lengthening in the side of our leg. Meeting our leg back in center. We can now slowly bend our knee. Just releasing. We're going to hug our knee into our chest. Releasing our leg down on the mat. We're going to rock our knees from side to side. Just releasing here. We're going to hug both knees into our chest, maybe lifting up our forehead to meet our knees. And releasing everything back down. We're going to reach our feet up to the sky, keeping our knees nice and bent. We're coming into our final stretch, happy baby. We're going to reach our hands, grasping in the outside part of our feet. Our knees bent into our chest, releasing here. Releasing our lower back into the mat. Maybe feeling an opening up of our hips, of our hamstrings, our inner thighs. Tuning our attention back into our breath. Meeting our knees back together, bending both of our knees. We're going to place our hands behind our knees and rock ourselves back up into our cross-legged seated position, meeting in the center of our mat. Opening our arms up to the sky. We bring our hands to heart center. And together we say, Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me in this practice today. I hope everyone has a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you.